talk about this, we're joined on set by Foreign Affairs editor Ketavan Gorjestani. Nice to see you, Ketavan. So, who is Natalie Harp, for those who haven't heard, and why is she in the news?
Well, look, she is a 35-year-old woman who has been a sort of near constant presence in Donald Trump's life for the past few years. Their relationship seems to have started back in 2019. At the time, she credited him for saving her life. She said that she had a bone cancer that was cured by experimental drugs that she believes she was able to obtain because Donald Trump in his first term had signed a program, and that these were part of that program. And this story that she talked about quite a bit landed her a speaking spot at the Republican National Convention in 2020. After Donald Trump's loss, she went on to work for a right-wing news organization, OAN, and then she returned to Donald Trump's campaign in 2022. Since their return to the White House, she has been a special assistant, and she's been seen pretty much everywhere, and she has even been dubbed the human printer. That is because she literally is seen multiple times walking around with a portable printer, printing out information for Donald Trump, who is notoriously someone who likes reading on paper. But until the summer, she was pretty much out of the spotlight. Maybe people inside the Washington ring and the political scene knew about her, but not everyone knew about her. And then came this book, Regime Change, by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan. They started reporting about everything in the White House, but she was mentioned in there, and apparently her notes to Donald Trump, devotion that she showed there, one of the notes reading, "You are all that matters to me." And then last week came the reporting by the Washington Post that she was aboard that secret flight that Donald Trump took out of Turkey to get back to the United States, while other top officials actually were left on the other plane. But it was Democratic Senator John Ossoff that really pushed her in the spotlight when he delivered this line at a rally. Donald Trump wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie. This and the outrage from the White House for that line really brought her into the spotlight after spending years with people not even knowing her name.
Now, Ketavan, you were obviously our Washington correspondent. You know these security clearance measures that you have to go through to get kind of this level of access to the president. So why is she causing concern security-wise?
Well, there is that new reporting that you mentioned from MS Now that basically Natalie Harp worked in the White House for possibly up to a year without getting that security clearance, that she apparently refused several times to fill out that paperwork in order to get the clearance. And eventually the White House counsel, as well as Donald Trump, sort of intervened. And then she eventually, apparently a few months ago, had that security clearance. Now, the fact is that at the White House, and many experts have confirmed that, which is that when you work at the White House, you go through a certain background check anyway. But then if you are within sensitive information, you usually need additional security clearance. And that's where people are saying she worked without a security clearance, and it was a problem. Given her proximity to Donald Trump, the fact that she is on the helicopter with him, on Air Force One with him, she had possibly been in the room while he was having a sensitive conversation and therefore had access to that. And then there's also the worry about all the information that she gives him because she is so close to him. I was mentioning this idea and this nickname, human printer. That's really underestimating her role in Donald Trump's life. She is one of the few trusted people who has direct access to his Truth Social. She posts for him, and she is also the one who gives him information. And there are concerns that have been reported in that book, Regime Change, in the White House, that she's only giving him the information that he wants to hear. Really a positive, favorable coverage, positive, favorable polls that have not been vetted, and social media, very right-wing social media, and not necessarily anything else. The last time Natalie Harp was seen in public with Donald Trump seems to be quite a few days ago, which is kind of unusual. So it seems that maybe all of this spotlight is now sort of creating a little bit of an unease in the White House that has spilled over in public. But according to all of that reporting, it's been going on for quite a while amid top officials who they have security clearance and the sort of background where they need to be with the president, whereas she doesn't really have that.
Wow, Natalie Harp, good to know about her. We'll be hearing more about her in the following weeks, I'm sure. Thank you, Ketavan, for that update. We'll be speaking to you a bit later today.